Chapter 21. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. Mr. Jiang Wenjie, standing beside Jiang Cheng, said with a bright smile, I looked into it yesterday. Changji Technology's recent slump was due to cash flow problems with their RD. Then, just yesterday, they held a press conference announcing that their nationally patented blood pressure medication, developed over 5 years, has been approved and certified. They can start production and sales immediately. Wenjie, eager to show off her business acumen, explained calmly. So, the market's super optimistic about Changji Technology right now. Confidence is sky high. Mr. Jiang. I can assure you, the stock you have will have amazing potential. Yeah, that makes sense. Jiang Cheng finally looked up from the terminal computer screen and nodded. A very professional analysis. Thanks for the compliment. If you ever have questions about the market, feel free to ask. So I decided to sell. Wenjie's jaw dropped. Right triangulary operators, I just talked your ear off, and that's your response. While the consultant was serving him and rambling about the potential of the stock, Jiang Cheng had already casually cleared out all his Changji Technology shares. Then, he transferred 3,000 yuan to his bank card for spending money, and used the remaining 75,000 yuan to buy another stock that was hitting its daily limit, Xiaofu Jewelry. Jiang Cheng, with his investment superpower, knew Changji Technology would be a winner in the long run, but he didn't have time to wait. The god of investment ability only lasts 58 days. In the time I have left, I need to use it as much and as quickly as possible, to build up my capital and plan for the future, and Xiaofu Jewelry, according to the system, was about to go from its daily low to its daily high, so, Jiang Cheng naturally jumped on the opportunity without hesitation. Jiang. Mr. Jiang. What are you doing? Looking at Jiang Cheng's account, a bewildered Wenjie hadn't quite caught up. Nothing, just a hunch, Jiang Cheng said with a smile, logging out of the account. Miss Wen, see you next week. Okay. The tall beauty in her neat Zhaoheng uniform replied blankly, watching Jiang Cheng disappear out the door. Buying another stock at its daily low. She muttered to herself, feeling like she couldn't figure this young man out, just a hunch. Again. Calming down, she pulled up Xiaofu Jewelry's K-line chart. Sure enough, the stock had been tanking for 2 months, hitting its daily low for the last 5 days straight. There's absolutely no reason to buy this junk stock right now. It made no sense. The consultant leaned against the counter, her brow furrowed, her white fingers touching her lips. A wild guess popped into her head. Could he have some kind of insider information? The thought flashed through her mind, but she immediately dismissed it. How could a young retail investor like him have access to market-moving information? Besides, judging by his clothes and the small amount of money in his account, he didn't seem like some rich kid. This was strange. Could he really just be a newbie, gambling his money away? Just as Wenjie was puzzling over it, the candlestick chart of Xiaofu Jewelry, which had been bottoming out, suddenly moved without warning. The stock, after hitting its daily low for 5 days straight, was now rebounding rapidly. By the time Jiang Cheng got back to school, it was almost noon. Fatty was still glued to his computer, yelling like a maniac, this time playing Yamaguchi Mountain. Jiang Cheng vaguely remembered that Fatty was the president of some big guild in the game, leading raids every week. Lao Lu was still doing dumbbell exercises, and Brother Foam was lying on his bed, listening to music with headphones on. Hey, Brother Pao's back. Seeing Jiang Cheng walk in, Li Xiaofeng grinned, taking off one earbud and leaning forward. How was your night of passion? Don't even mention it, my back's killing me. Jiang Cheng grabbed a bottle of water from the desk, unscrewed it, and took a swig. Okay, you're awesome. After a quick smoke, they headed to the cafeteria. Don't forget to bring me some food, guys. Fatty yelled after them. At the school cafeteria, Jiang Cheng ordered the beef hot pot without even asking the others. It was 20 yuan, with meat, vegetables, tofu, and a layer of hot pot meatballs. Spicy, delicious, and a total steal. Add the all-you-can-eat rice and a couple of cold dishes, and the 3 of them were set. Damn, old Jiang, you're on it. Li Xiaofeng was impressed. You know about the canteen's secret weapon, the beef hot pot. Seems like you did your homework before coming here. Nah, just browsed the forum. Jiang Cheng shrugged, breaking apart a pair of disposable chopsticks and rubbing them together. Come on, let's dig. And he carefully scooped 2 spoonfuls of the spicy hot pot oil onto his rice and topped it with a slice of super thin and tender beef. Spicy and delicious, it hit the spot. Hey, check it out, Li Xiaofeng said, whispering, there's a beautiful girl over there. Where? Jiang Cheng and Lu Yijie asked, eyes snapping over to where he was looking. They took one glance and immediately turned back. Hey, stop staring. Jiang Cheng shrugged. We'll meet her at the class meeting this afternoon. What? You know her? How could I not? You're full of it. Zhong Xier, 18 years old, 5 feet 6 inches, 100 pounds, type O blood, from Jincheng, Sichuan. Her family owns a hot pot chain, comfortable lifestyle, straight-A student, loves guitar, photography, and painting, freshman in the finance department, class 4. What the hell? Li Xiaofeng and Lu Yijie exchanged shocked glances. Old Jiang. From now on, the title of Know-It-All of Jiaotong University belongs to you. Chapter 22. You are listening at Novelful.audio. It's 2 p.m. in finance class 4, when Jiang Cheng and his buddies strolled in. Pretty much all the freshmen were already there. Yo, what up, Cheng? Fong. Jia. The guys all grinned and greeted them as they walked in. They'd all grabbed drinks the night before, so most of them were already pretty familiar and had a good time, waving and smiling. The 3 bros from room 404 naturally gravitated to the back row and snagged seats together. Jiang Cheng glanced around the room. Since it was the first few days of school, the guys and girls were sitting on opposite sides. Like there was an invisible line down the middle, most of the girls had formed little cliques based on their dorms, and Zhong Xier seemed to be the center of attention. Today, she was rocking a simple but classy white dress. Her bare face was as beautiful as a painting, and her whole vibe was like a goddess jumped straight out of a book. The summer breeze rustled through the trees outside the window, playing with her soft hair through the curtains. From where Jiang Cheng was sitting, he had a perfect view of her flawless profile. Hey, Jiang, Li Xiaofeng nudged Jiang Cheng with a sly grin, leaned in, and whispered, what? Still crushing on your dream girl? Nah, Jiang Cheng replied with a slight smile. He'd buried his feelings for Zhong Xier back in his past life, as deeply as he'd loved her then. That's how indifferent he was to her now. Their relationship would stay at the level of classmates, past, present, and future. Speaking of which, Lu Yijie chimed in, besides Zhong Xier, the other girls are kinda average. True. Jiang Cheng nodded. There were 9 girls in finance class 4. Besides Zhong Xier, who was the school's hottie, the other 8, well, let's just say it wasn't a beauty pageant. Thinking that, Jiang Cheng took another look at the group of girls across the room, and stopped. Something was off. He counted them again and his jaw dropped. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. When the heck did they get 10 girls in the class? What in the world? Was this some butterfly effect from being reborn? Jiang Cheng squinted, trying to remember and identify each girl by name. Zhong Xier, Sun Yani, Wang Yuan. All 9 of the girls he remembered were there, except for one. Jiang Cheng stared at the tall, skinny girl sitting alone by the window in the back. She was thin and wearing a beat-up school uniform from some no-name high school. Her long hair looked like it hadn't been washed in forever, all greasy and tangled. Her bangs were a mess, hanging down over her forehead. She wore these old, round glasses with the paint peeling off. Her face was pale and she looked like she hadn't eaten a decent meal in months, but if you looked close, her nose was straight and her lips were full. She was actually kinda pretty. She sat alone, like nobody wanted to talk to her, and she didn't seem interested in making friends either. She was just reading a thick book. This was weird. Jiang Cheng pinched the bridge of his nose and frowned. He clearly remembered that there were 12 guys and 9 girls in the class. How come everyone else was right, but there was an extra girl? Was his memory failing him? It felt like something was nagging at him, but he couldn't put his finger on it. It was driving him nuts. Just then, footsteps echoed from the doorway. A plump, middle-aged woman with glasses bustled in. Jiang Cheng knew her instantly. Wan Wei, the head teacher of finance class 4, known as Sister Wei. She was known for her kind and easygoing nature. After she introduced herself, she picked up the roll book and started calling out names. The first roll call for this group of college freshmen. Chen Chunyan. Here. Ready. Here. Zhu Hao, Zhu Hao. Teacher Wan, Zhu Hao's got a fever and needs a sick day. Jiang Cheng and Li Xiaofeng exchanged glances, then raised their hands. Oh. Okay, well, you're in the same dorm with him, so please look after your classmate while he's sick. Will do, teacher. Jiang Cheng nodded, thinking that Zhu Hao was a brave guy. Skipping the class meeting for college freshmen, teacher Wan didn't dwell on it. She kept going down the list. Lu Xian. Here. The girl in the corner replied quietly, Lu Xian. The moment he heard that name, Jiang Cheng froze. A memory, locked away for years, resurfaced. That girl, Lu Xian, was indeed Jiang Cheng's classmate. She was also a top student who scored first on the 2009 college entrance exam for the finance department. She didn't socialize much. She always hid in the corner with her nose in a book, so nobody really noticed her, and Jiang Cheng vaguely remembered that she'd only been in school for a month before disappearing. Rumor had it that she'd dropped out. Over time, everyone, including him, had forgotten about her. That's why Jiang Cheng hadn't recognized her. Now it all made sense, like a clogged drain had just been cleared. After roll call, the short, chubby, and kind teacher Wan gave some instructions about military training. Next week, finally, in a good mood, the first class meeting ended with a lot of laughter. Cheng, Feng, let's go shoot some hoops. As they were leaving the classroom, Lu Yijie put Jiang Cheng and Li Xiaofeng in a headlock. Nah, Li Xiaofeng said, it's the weekend. Gotta go home. Forget it. Jiang Cheng also declined, it's too hot. I'm gonna chill in the library and enjoy the AC. Fine, Lu Yijie raised his eyebrows. I'm out. See ya. After saying goodbye to his roommates, Jiang Cheng strolled into the school library. When he bought the Focus Talent, he promised himself that no matter how busy he got, he'd spend some time reading and studying every day. No matter how awesome the system was, it was just a tool. Ultimately, it came down to his own abilities. Knowledge, cultivation, skills, background. For Jiang Cheng, who was determined to reach the top, enriching himself and getting stronger was the best way to thank God for the gift he had given him. Chapter 23. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. In the library, the air conditioning was perfect for cooling off. After a careful search, Jiang Cheng finally emerged from the towering shelves, clutching a copy of Paul Samuelson's Economics. This book is a masterpiece of financial research. Paul Samuelson, the author, was a renowned American economist, MIT professor, winner of the 1970 Nobel Prize in Economics, and a pioneer in welfare economics and modern econometrics. The book offers detailed insights into the three pillars of economics: political economics, sectoral economics, and technical economics. From macro to micro, production to consumption, and the history of economic thought to economic systems, it provides a unique and insightful perspective. Its comprehensive and detailed foundation of knowledge makes it ideal for Jiang Cheng, whose academic base was shaky, to rebuild from the ground up. He also planned to systematically study investment, management, psychology, and master at least 2 or 3 foreign languages. All of this was crucial for Jiang Cheng's ambition to build a multinational business empire. Jiaotong University Library was filled with diligent students. After a long search, Jiang Cheng found an empty table by the window in a quiet corner. He plopped down, picked up the thick economics, and began to read carefully. Initially, he anticipated feeling repulsed by the tedious study. After all, for the past decade, he'd mostly played games, watched videos, and indulged in food and health supplements during his free time. He hadn't cracked a book in ages. But to his surprise, from the moment he opened the first page of economics, he felt incredibly calm. The boredom he usually associated with studying was gone. Instead, he genuinely enjoyed the peaceful feeling. The previously obscure content, when approached with such focus, became clear and easy to understand at a glance. Jiang Cheng flipped through the pages, reading quickly but thoroughly, feeling deeply fulfilled as knowledge flooded his mind. Wow, he muttered to himself, inwardly ecstatic. My concentration is off the charts. He transformed into a learning machine, lost in the ocean of knowledge. Without realizing it, the scenery outside the window shifted from bright sunlight to golden twilight, and finally to the glow of streetlights. Phew, Jiang Cheng sighed, stretching. He felt an immense sense of accomplishment, his mind brimming with new knowledge. His stomach, however, voiced a loud and clear protest. After returning the books to their shelves, Jiang Cheng headed towards the cafeteria. It was well past dinner time, and most of the serving windows were preparing to close. The vast cafeteria hall was nearly empty, with just a few students still eating. Jiang Cheng found an open window and ordered a set meal, perhaps because they were about to close, or maybe because they thought Jiang Cheng was cute. The server was incredibly generous, piling his stainless steel plate high with food and even adding 2 eggs. Carrying his plate into the hall, Jiang Cheng's attention was immediately drawn to a figure in the distance. Messy long hair, a faded high school uniform, and as thin as a rail. It was Lu Xin, the academic powerhouse who had occupied his thoughts during class earlier that afternoon. Driven by curiosity, Jiang Cheng pretended to walk past her. Slowing his pace and glancing over, she was holding a half-eaten baijiu steamed bun. On the stainless steel plate in front of her was a package of generic pickled mustard tubers and a bowl of free tomato soup without any egg. Seeing this, Jiang Cheng looked down at his own plate with mixed feelings. He wasn't a saintly do-gooder, but perhaps because she was his classmate, or because she was a girl, whatever the reason, Jiang Cheng felt a pang of sadness. He always believed the world was unfair, favoring the wealthy, and for millions like Lu Xin, the world's harsh realities felt inescapable. Looking at her, Jiang Cheng was reminded of his past self, his lowest point. Wasn't he the same? No future, no hope. During that dark period, amidst the jeers of others, Jiang Cheng held on to a sliver of hope. If someone would offer a hand. Even a little encouragement, or a look of recognition, would have been enough to see some light. He wondered if Lu Xin felt the same way deep down. Perhaps sensing Jiang Cheng behind her, the girl chewing on the stale bun suddenly turned around. She recognized him as a classmate, but her expression was confused and helpless, likely due to her limited interactions with others, especially guys. Hey, Lu Xin, Jiang Cheng said. Now that he'd been spotted, there was no point in hiding. He simply sat down next to her with his plate. Hello. Jiang Cheng. She responded nervously, stuttering. Her hands, unsure of what to do, were clasped tightly around the thick book on the table. It was Monetary Finance, a classic by Friedrich S. Mishkin. In the original English, Jiang Cheng's respect for Lu Xin grew instantly. He didn't subscribe to the belief that test scores were everything, but he believed that someone willing to dedicate themselves to learning, if properly nurtured, would be a valuable asset to society. Clearly, Lu Xin possessed such potential. Jiang Cheng was certain of it. He didn't know why she had dropped out of school in his previous life, but now that he'd found this diamond in the rough, he wasn't going to let her slip away. His future business empire needed talent like hers. Chapter 24. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. Jiang Cheng, what is all this? Lu Xin stared at the mountain of food on her plate, her face pale and panicked. Seriously? You can't eat like this every day. Jiang Cheng kept piling food onto her plate, adding potatoes and braised pork. You're still growing, you need your protein and vitamins. I can't. I really can't eat this much. The girl stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. She had no idea why this classmate, whom she'd barely met, was loading her plate like this. Try the braised pork, it's the cafeteria's specialty. And these duck legs. Here. Gotta have some veggies, garlic noodles and a tomato salad. Oh, and eggs are pure protein. Gotta have these too. Lu Xin was speechless. Okay, Jiang Cheng. Enough already. Alright, that's it for now. Eat up before it gets cold. Jiang Cheng happily picked up his own chopsticks, having transferred most of his food to Lu Xin. Eat. Oh okay. Lu Xian was a naturally shy girl with zero experience dealing with guys like this. She was completely overwhelmed by Jiang Cheng's carefree, brazen attitude. All she could do was stammer in response, picking up a tiny piece of potato and tentatively putting it in her mouth. The potatoes, cooked with rich pork and spices like cinnamon, were soft, flavorful, and fragrant. She hadn't had meat in ages, and the taste exploded in her mouth, a welcome change from her usual bland diet. Before she knew it, the diced potatoes were gone. Delicious. Potatoes could be this delicious. Then that big piece of braised pork. Lu Xian swallowed, staring at the glistening meat with longing. Eat up. Jiang Cheng urged with a smile. Okay. Thank you. Lu Xian nervously adjusted her glasses, pursing her lips. She hated saying no, and finally succumbed to the temptation of the warm food in front of her. 1 bite. 2 bites, she tried to maintain some semblance of table manners in front of Jiang Cheng. But the moment the flavors of the braised pork hit her taste buds, so used to the blandness of pickled vegetables and steamed buns, she couldn't help the feeling. The juicy, fatty meat released a perfect bombarding of flavor that felt instinctively satisfying. Under this pleasant stimulation, she felt like she was chewing faster and faster, as if she was losing control. Jiang Cheng chuckled, watching the girl devour the food. He remembered a video he'd seen about how most people get a sense of satisfaction from feeding weak animals. It made sense, he thought. I could be Lu Xian's owner. Yeah, I could get into that. As he took a bite of rice, his phone buzzed. It was Lisa, the most beautiful girl on campus. He glanced at Lu Xian, stepped away, and answered. Hey there, how's it going, handsome? Lisa's voice was sweet and playful. She definitely liked him, switching from calling him Junior to handsome now. What do you think? I miss you. Jiang Cheng said. Really? She sounded even happier. Where are you? I'm coming to get you. I'll give you what you want. I'm at the cafeteria, about to head out. Perfect, I'm close by. I'll meet you at the door. Okay. Hanging up, Jiang Cheng returned to Lu Xian, who was dutifully peeling an egg. Alright, I gotta go. He said casually. Remember to finish everything, don't waste it. Okay. Lu Xian replied distractedly, watching him leave. Outside the cafeteria, Jiang Cheng lit a cigarette under a tree, and Lisa rushed over. She was wearing a black and white off-the-shoulder dress that showed off her smooth shoulders and delicate collarbones. A white denim skirt accentuated her slim waist and long, straight legs. As she looked around, Jiang Cheng whistled and Lisa spotted him. Jerk. You didn't even come to say hi. She stomped over, snatching the cigarette from his mouth and taking a drag. Hey, what's up? What's the agenda tonight? What agenda? I just had some free time, wanted to show you around campus. Lisa said playfully. Oh, that's it? Jiang Cheng blinked innocently. It's almost 9, what's there to see in the dark? Ugh. Stop pretending. Lisa pouted. Let's just say. I need to make sure that medicine wasn't for nothing. Point 10:30 p.m., the top floor of the complex building, the accessible bathroom. Jiang Cheng wiped the sweat off his face and checked his phone. Crap, lights out soon. So. We don't need lights to have a good time. Lisa panted, relaxing on the toilet seat. Guess not. Jiang Cheng said. With that, the two of them headed out. Chapter 25. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. Saturday morning, sunlight streamed into the hotel room through the sheer curtains. Jiang Cheng frowned and slowly opened his eyes. He stretched, feeling a dull ache in his lower back. Ugh, okay. Mostly just the back. He sat up, grabbed the water bottle from the nightstand, and chugged it down. He tossed the empty bottle, watching it arc through the sunlight before landing neatly in the trash can overflowing with tissues. Xiao Qingqing, gotta run. Something came up, Han Lisha called out, studying her reflection in the mirror and blotting her lipstick lips. Busy bee, Jiang Cheng mumbled. Yeah, a party my sister's throwing. Promised I'd be there. After applying lipstick, Han Lisha dabbed powder on her face with a puff. Gotta hustle to snag a rich dude, so I can take care of you later, you know, Jiang Cheng. Oh, toss me my clothes, will ya? Sure. Jiang Cheng flipped back the covers and used his toes to snag the black and white plaid top and hand it over. And the skirt. Got it. He reached over and grabbed the denim skirt hanging on the window seat and tossed it to her. Room service breakfast is included. Don't forget to grab a bite, Han Lisha said, carefully checking her outfit in the mirror. Okay. Jiang Cheng nodded. Alright, sis, I'm outta here. Bye. Han Lisha, all dolled up, blew Jiang Cheng a kiss and clicked out of the room in her high heels. That girl, Jiang Cheng chuckled, leaning back against the headboard, smoking. He was comfortable with their arrangement, no clinginess, no heavy obligations, no overwhelming emotional drama. They each got what they needed, and then they each had their own space, without getting in each other's way. Like they say, if you're not in it for the long haul, just check out and leave. Clean and simple. After lounging in bed for a while, Jiang Cheng finally got up, headed to the bathroom to wash up. Got dressed, and went out. He took the elevator to the 4th floor and strolled into the hotel restaurant. Even though it was free, the breakfast spread was pretty impressive. Buns, noodles, meat, fruit, they had it all. Plate in hand, Jiang Cheng grabbed some toast and bacon, poured a glass of milk, and found a table by the window. As he ate, he thought about what to do with his weekend. The stock market was closed, so no trading. The investment god perk had an expiration date. Only 57 days left, and he didn't want to waste 2 precious days. What else could he do? He pondered. The biggest problem was still the lack of capital. The stock market snowball was a safe bet, but it was still too slow for his liking. Besides stocks, what other good ways were there to cash in on his abilities? Was he really stuck scratching lottery tickets at convenience stores? Jiang Cheng twirled his fork absently, but his hand slipped, and the stainless steel fork flew out, hitting the little billboard on the table. He glanced at it and his eyes were caught by the words on the sign. Stone is where the luck begins. Cut open a raw stone, win big. It was an ad for a special event at the 4th Northwest Jewelry and Jade Exhibition, which was opening that very day. To build hype, the organizers had bought a bunch of raw jadeite stones from Myanmar and Yunnan and hired professional stone-cutting masters to be there. Customers could buy stones and have them cut open right on the spot. Interesting, Jiang Cheng said. He finished his milk, got up, and left. He had nothing better to do, so he figured he'd try his luck. Hanging out at an air-conditioned exhibition center sounded way better than sweating it out at lottery stands. The Jewelry and Jade Exhibition was at the Zhujiang International Exhibition Center in the southern suburbs, only 10 minutes from Jiang Cheng's hotel. When Jiang Cheng arrived by taxi, the opening ceremony had just ended, and the place was buzzing with people. He spotted plenty of guys in suits and ladies dripping in gold and diamonds, and of course, the usual crowd of older folks who came to browse. Jiang Cheng followed the crowd into the lavishly decorated main hall. It was called the Jewelry and Jade Exhibition, but it was basically a trade show. Everywhere he looked, there were gleaming booths filled with jewelers from all over the world. Each piece was tagged with a price. If you liked it, you could just swipe your card. It was 2009, and China's wealthy were still mostly coal tycoons. And this crowd loved buying gold and jade. For the exhibitors, landing one of those big fish could set them up for the entire year, but with all the fancy merchandise, you had to watch out for the fakes. Technically, anything with investment potential triggered Jiang Cheng's investment sense, and gold, silver, jade, and stones definitely fit the bill. Take that massive jade sculpture on his left, for example. It was displayed in the center of a booth decked out in gold trim. The jade surface had been carved into majestic mountain peaks, and spotlights shone on it, making it look mighty impressive. At first glance, it was pretty imposing, but what was even more impressive was the sign, Wanli Jiangshan, 10,000 miles of rivers and mountains, Ming Dynasty Hetian jade carving, and the price, 1,888,888. The name and the price played perfectly to the simple tastes of coal barons who love things big and lucky. Of course, Jiang Cheng knew better. Investment opportunity detected. Synthetic jade carving, expected return 99.9%, well, synthetic. Cost less than 20 grand, selling it for 1.8 mil. Gotta admire the hustle. Chapter 26. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. At the Jade display stood a young guy. He was rocking a trendy t-shirt and some retro Air Jordans. He looked pretty impressed staring at the massive Jade sculpture. Next to him, four saleswomen in black silk dresses were practically drooling over him, their heavy makeup barely concealing their excitement, not because he was hot, but because of the shiny gold Vacheron Constantine watch on his wrist. Young Master Shen, you've got such great taste. One saleswoman puffed out her chest and said in a sugary voice, this, Wanli Jiang Cheng, sculpture is Zenlongji Jewelry Group's prized possession. It's steeped in history, and our boss cherishes it like crazy. Totally, like a well-rehearsed chorus. Another saleswoman sidled up to him and chimed in, our boss really doesn't want to part with this treasure. He specifically told us that unless it was someone special, like Mr. Shen, well, we couldn't even talk about selling it. Only a true VIP like you, Mr. Shen, deserves such an awesome map of mountains and rivers. Yes, that the other saleswomen in the back acted as hype women, adding fuel to the fire. Jiang Cheng, standing nearby, couldn't help but chuckle at the whole scene. All that flattery was nauseating. Thousands of years of history. You mean the Ming dynasty doesn't want to sell? Then what's with the $188,000 price tag? Just for decoration. And this rich kid, surrounded by these saleswomen, was actually falling for all the BS. Alright, that's it. I knew there was something special about this thing, that he clapped his hands like he was snapping out of a trance and yelled, enough talk. Swipe the card. Wow, Mr. Shen, you're so cool. Young Master Shen, you've got such an eye for quality, that the second they heard swipe the card, the saleswomen went wild. Jiang Cheng found the whole thing hilarious, but he cleared his throat loudly. Mr. Shen turned, catching Jiang Cheng's knowing look. Something about that look seemed to break the spell. The kid's brain, which had been completely bamboozled, suddenly kicked back into gear. Hold on. Slightly regaining his composure, Mr. Shen put his card away. Nearly 200 grand for Jade, right? I should probably get it appraised first. He pulled out his phone and made a call. The middle-aged proprietress, who was rushing over with a POS machine, went pale. Damn it, the fat woman, looking furious, glared at Jiang Cheng as he walked away. She spoke with a strange accent. You meddling busybody. Get lost. Soon after Jiang Cheng left, a middle-aged man in glasses hurried over. Yunpeng, I'm so sorry. He rushed to the young man's side, apologizing, I was seeing off some VIPs from the opening ceremony. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's fine, Uncle Zhao. Shen Yunpeng said politely, you're the Jade expert. Can you take a look at this for me? What do you think of this sculpture? Oh, the middle-aged man adjusted his glasses and carefully examined the jade. The carving is decent, he said after a moment. So, there's nothing wrong with it. Shen Yunpeng reached for his card again. Hold your horses, the man said, grabbing Shen Yunpeng's hand. I know you're here to pick out something for Chairman Shen's 50th birthday. There are a lot of great pieces here, so we should probably be a little more careful. Shen Yunpeng wasn't stupid. He understood the message, he nodded slightly, and the two of them walked out of the Zenlongji jewelry booth. The short, fat proprietress and the saleswomen, clearly feeling guilty and worried about Zhao Chuan, the event organizer, didn't dare try to stop them. They just watched their sale walk away, faces like thunder. Uncle Zhao, you're saying there's something wrong with that jade? Shen Yunpeng asked as soon as they were out of earshot. That synthetic jade, worth maybe 20 grand. Uncle Zhao scoffed. It's the latest tech out of Japan. I saw it in Zhonghai last month, but most people wouldn't know the difference. What the hell? Young Master Shen's face darkened. Those bastards are trying to rip me off. Hey, calm down, Uncle Zhao said quickly, seeing his reaction. Our Qinzhou Jade Culture Association is co-hosting this event. For the sake of everything, let's just sweep this under the rug. Alright, for you, Uncle Zhao, I'll let it slide. Shen Yunping nodded. $1,000,000 wasn't a big deal to him, but still, this was supposed to be a birthday gift from him and his sister to their father. If he brought back a worthless fake, he'd never live it down. His sister would kill him. Just thinking about his hot-tempered sister made him shudder. Come to think of it, that guy from earlier was pretty stand-up. If it weren't for him, he would have paid up already. Feeling relieved, Shen Yunping thought about the young man who had given him a warning and felt grateful. If he ran into him later, he'd definitely make friends. Pushing through the crowd, Jiang Cheng headed straight for the central booth. He could see a ton of uncut stones of all sizes displayed on a red carpet. He quickly scanned the area. Jiang Cheng nodded to himself, squeezed through the crowd, and got to the front row. He began to examine the stones one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, the host, wearing a sharp suit, stood in the center of the booth with a microphone and spoke enthusiastically. Today, the organizers of the 4th Northwest Jewelry and Jade Exhibition, to thank all of our customers for their support, have purchased a huge amount of jadeite rough stones from Myanmar and Yunnan. And we've invited Mr. Zhao Chuan, president of the Qinzhou Jade Culture Association, and Master Wang Gang, the top stone expert from southern Yunnan, to cut and appraise the stones right here on the spot. Good luck is sure to come when you choose a stone. Chapter 27. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. After listening for a bit, Jiang Cheng finally figured out the deal. Each jadeite stone on display was numbered and cost $3,000, no matter the size. Once you bought it, Master Wang would cut it open for free, and the Jade Association president would assess the quality right then and there. But $3,000 a pop was a bit steep for casual onlookers, so, even though the host was working hard to drum up excitement, the crowd wasn't budging. Nobody wanted to drop that kind of cash on a gamble. Seeing the lack of interest, Zhao Chuan, the Jade Association president and event organizer, frowned. He scanned the crowd, thinking he'd give it a few more minutes. If things didn't pick up, he'd have to call in the ringers they'd pre-arranged. Meanwhile, Jiang Cheng was walking the booth, carefully sizing up each stone's potential. He only had $3,000, just enough for one. So, if he was going to take a shot, he wanted the one with the biggest possible payoff. But Jiang Cheng had already checked out almost all the stones, and they were basically duds. None of them looked like a good investment. This was pretty typical, though. It was just a hype event, and the organizers probably shelled out a little cash for some junk to fill the space. Well, guess I came for nothing. Jiang Cheng scratched his head, feeling a little bummed. After circling the front row of people, he took one last glance at the back row of stones before heading out. Investment opportunity detected. Jade rough stone number 72, projected return plus 100,000%. He'd been about to leave, but then this message flashed on the system screen. Jiang Cheng rubbed his eyes, thinking he must have misread it. A 100,000% return. That would make the stone worth $3 million. Holy crap. He wasn't expecting much. Turns out there was a whale that even the experts missed. His pupils narrowed, and his hand started to shake. 3 million. This crummy rock was worth $3 million. He was the Buddha, the Jade Emperor, the Guanyin Bodhisattva, the special envoy sent to obtain the scriptures from the West, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King of Water Curtain Cave and Flower and Fruit Mountain, the great sage equaling heaven. This was awesome. Without a second thought, Jiang Cheng waved to the host on stage. I want to cut one open. All right. We've got a player. Seeing their first customer, the host jumped at the chance to build some buzz. He started clapping and shouted in his loudest voice, "We have our first brave challenger today. Let's give him a big round of applause and wish him the best of luck." The crowd, who had been planning to just watch, were happy to see someone finally step up. Applause and cheers erupted, and the atmosphere suddenly got a lot more lively. Guided by the etiquette lady in Cheongsam, Jiang Cheng paid for his stone under the stage and then headed up to the booth. Hold on a sec, young man. Just as Jiang Cheng was about to pick out stone number 72, Zhao Chuan, who was sitting in the VIP section, spoke up. You're pretty young. I bet you've never gambled on stones before, have you? That's right. Jiang Cheng nodded. Just trying my luck, having some fun. Haha, well then. Zhao Chuan adjusted his glasses and chuckled. I've got a little experience. How about I pick a stone for you, that? He was worried the kid would pick a worthless stone and kill the buzz they'd worked so hard to create. Of course, Zhao Chuan knew this batch of stones was mostly junk, but he wanted to at least find one with a little jade in it, regardless of the appearance or value. Finding some jadeite would give the layman a good start, and make the atmosphere more lively. No need. The handsome young man turned him down flat. I've already picked this one. Jiang Cheng ignored the embarrassed middle-aged man and went straight to stone number 72, giving it a pat. This one. Zhao Chuan gave a helpless smile. That stone was covered in moss. No way it was worth anything. What a fool. Not just him, but even some of the audience members who knew a thing or two shook their heads when they saw Jiang Cheng's choice. It's over. This guy's a total amateur. What do you mean? It hasn't even been cut open yet. Look, materials like this with moss on the surface are almost always trash. Anyone with a clue knows that. He didn't even listen to Mr. Zhao, the Jade Association president. What a dummy. What a waste of $3,000. Hearing the crowd's chatter, Zhao Chuan smiled and tried one more time. Young man, you sure you don't want to change your mind? Nope. Jiang Cheng replied firmly. Just need the master to cut it open for me. Hearing this, Master Wang, the stone cutter, looked at Zhao Chuan and finally nodded. The organizers had pulled out all the stops for this event. The cutters had been prepped on stage, with cameras pointed at the side for a live broadcast on the big screen. Master Wang picked up stone number 72 and tapped it. He frowned helplessly. Having spent half his life cutting stones, he'd seen it all. This kind of moss-covered material had a rough texture, was opaque, had cracks and a gray base. The industry called it shit land. Normally, he wouldn't even give this kind of garbage a second glance, let alone work on it himself, but he'd been hired by the organizers, so even if it was just for show, he had to play his part, right? With that in mind, Master Wang quickly found the right spot and made his first cut. Chi. The high-speed diamond saw wind as it bit into the surface of the stone. The first cut was done quickly, and everyone craned their necks to see the big screen. The cross-section was gray, with moss-like patterns. Yup, just as expected. This stone was worthless. Master Wang looked up at President Zhao Chuan in the VIP section. There was helplessness in his eyes. Jiang Cheng saw the look on the cutter's face. He smiled calmly and said slowly. Please, Master Wang, keep going. Yes, sir. The old master didn't say a word, and started cutting at the next spot. There was another sharp noise as a smooth gap appeared on the outer skin of the stone. Whoa, that the crowd watching the live broadcast on the big screen suddenly gasped. It's green. Chapter 28. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. Holy crap, jade. There's jade in this thing. That the crowd went wild seeing the deep green inside the cut stone. Is it worth anything? Is it valuable? Does anyone know what we're looking at? Looks kinda small, maybe you could make a bead out of it. Dream on. It's just green, it ain't gonna skyrocket in value. What's the big deal? Rubbing it doesn't count, the cutting is what makes it valuable. That everyone chimed in with their 2 cents, and the place was buzzing. But Master Wang, standing at the cutting machine, looked a little antsy. As the cutter, he was right up close and could see things clearly. The jade in this window was translucent, pure, flawless, and the color was perfect, and no cracks at all. If the rest of the material was this good after cutting, then this piece was worth something. Zhao Chuan, sitting in the guest seat, was equally surprised. He glanced over at Jiang Cheng, a complicated look on his face. Was this kid just lucky, or a real pro? Keep going, Jiang Cheng said, ignoring the chatter. Got it. Master Wang nodded hard and took a breath. He made the third cut. Everyone held their breath, eyes glued to the live feed. Another cut of pure, deep green, no cracks, no lines, clear and flawless. The hall went silent, like someone had hit the pause button. The high-def screen reflected hundreds of shocked faces. Holy crap, ice jade. Someone finally shouted. breaking the silence, then the place exploded with cheers. Ice jade. Perfect ice jade. And it's the purest imperial green. Unbelievable, the first guy up hits the jackpot. Man, this kid is lucky. Talk about good fortune. Hey, handsome, that a loud voice cut through the noise. The fat lady boss shoved her way through the crowd, flashing Jiang Cheng a smile. Sell me this jade, I'll give you 300 grand. What I say? Hearing that someone was offering $300,000 on the spot, the crowd got even more envious. 3 grand turned into 300 in the blink of an eye. Everyone wanted a piece of that action. Jiang Cheng just raised an eyebrow, a smirk playing on his lips. Asterisk, she's offering me 300k for material worth 3 million. Asterisk, this broad's not only selling fakes, now she's trying to rip me off to my face. Asterisk, go to hell. Hey, handsome. Seeing Jiang Cheng's hesitation, the fat woman's face twitched. I'm offering 300,000, which is pretty damn good. Think about it, this piece looks good now, but everyone knows these stones were picked out of the scrap heap. It may look great now, but who knows what the core's like. She eyed the stone on the cutter, her voice oily. Keep cutting, and it could all go to hell, then it's worthless. The fat woman figured she could sweet-talk a young guy like Jiang Cheng into selling this imperial green ice jade for 300k, but Jiang Cheng just turned away and kept his attention toward Wang Gang near the cutter. Master Wang, continue cutting. Master Wang nodded, pleased. He knew the chance of the material crumbling was slim. If it didn't crumble, the jade could sell for 2 or 3 million easy. He hadn't spoken up because he wanted to see if this young guy knew what he had, otherwise, he'd have a treasure and not even know it, just waiting to get scammed. Asterisk, you get what you earn. This kid was young, but he had vision and was measured, a real talent. Master Wang skillfully sliced away the outer layer of the stone. Water washed over it, light shone, and a perfect piece of ice jade revealed its true self. Oh my God! It's gorgeous. The hall erupted with gasps, staring at the screen showing the pure, green jade. Not a trace of imperfection. Perfect old mine ice jade. Top quality. Top quality. If you made a carving out of that, it'd be worth more than 300k, right? Ha! 300. You're dreaming. That kind of imperial green starts at $1 million, easy. Whether it's a bracelet, pendant, or a carving, the price triples or quadruples. 3 or 4 times. That's millions. Wait a minute, isn't that a total ripoff for that fat woman who offered 300,000? Tui. What a snake. The fat woman could hear everyone talking behind her back, and she couldn't take it anymore. All right. Knock it off. She jumped up, yelling, I'll buy the jade. 2 million. Deal. Everyone gasped at the price, swallowing hard. 3 grand to 2 million in a second. Envy ran rampant. 3 million. Just as everyone was reeling from 2 million, another voice called out. Everyone was stunned. Jiang Cheng looked up and grinned. It was the young rich guy he'd given advice to. The fat woman's face twisted with fury, but thinking about how much the jade could be worth later, she swallowed her anger, teeth clenched. 3.5 million. The crowd gasped at this price point, as well as Shen Yunping, who made the bid. This time, I came to choose a birthday gift for my father. I prepared 1 million, and my sister gave 2 million, a total of 3 million, but now that fat woman directly raised the price by 500,000, which made me feel a little embarrassed. I originally had several million pocket money, but I had almost spent it on eating, drinking, whoring and gambling with my friends. Do I have to call my sister for money now? When he thought of his irritable sister, Shen Yunping couldn't help shuddering all over, but he really couldn't bear to part with this rare and exquisite treasure, and he was in a dilemma for a while. Okay, 3 million. I'll sell it to this guy. What? Shen Yunping stared, disbelieving. The fat woman's face went dark. Why sell it to him? She shrieked, I bid the highest. Who cares what you bid? Jiang Cheng said coldly. You're not qualified. Get the hell out of here, you bitch. Ah. What did you say? Say it again. I'll call the cops and have you arrested. Oh, synthetic jade. Do you know how many years you get for fraud? You. The fat woman went pale, her knees buckling. She plopped to the floor. Get out. Ah, Jiang Cheng's glare scared her so bad, she screamed and scrambled away. Chapter 29. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. Looking at the fat woman hightailing it out of there, Jiang Cheng smirked, that low-class broad didn't deserve that piece of jade, anyway. Hey, man, Shen Yunping approached, hand outstretched. Righteous move. Likewise. Jiang Cheng grinned, shaking his hand. Listen, brother, Shen Yunping said, lowering his voice, still clasping Jiang Cheng's hand, I gotta thank you for what you did back there. Jiang Cheng just shrugged. No sweat. Seriously, with your sense of fair play, I'm calling you my friend. I'm Shen Yunping, what's your name? Jiang Cheng. Huh, Jiang. So, Jiang, Shen Yunping studied Jiang Cheng, who still seemed a little wet behind the ears, judging by your accent, you're not from Xijing, are you? Nah, I'm from Jincheng. You go to school here in Xijing? Yeah, I'm a freshman at Jiaodong University. Figures. A stand-up guy, and a brainiac from Jiaodong. Makes sense. Shen Yunping paused. My family, we got some businesses in Xijing. Nothing crazy, but we got connections. He whipped out a business card, handing it over. You're new here. If you run into any trouble in Xijing, give me a shout. I got your back, that he wasn't just being polite. He genuinely wanted to be friends. First, Jiang Cheng had given him the heads up. Second, even with someone offering 500k more, Jiang Cheng sold him that top-quality jade without batting an eye. Shen Yunping might be a party animal, but he wasn't dumb. Making friends with Jiang Cheng was a good move. Thanks, Mr. Shen. Forget that Mr., just Shen Xiao is fine. I'm a few years older than you, so just call me Peng. Alright. Jiang Cheng glanced at the card, Qinzhou Northwest Construction Investment Group, Business Department General Manager, he'd heard of them, one of the top 10 private companies in Qinzhou Province and a major player in Xijing real estate. The owner was Shen Xiangqian, worth a fortune, always on the Forbes list. Shen Yunping was probably his kid. Jiang Cheng felt a surge of luck, his past life taught him you couldn't buy connections like this for just $500,000. Well, congratulations, young man. Zhao Chuan, one of the organizers, came over, grinning. He was obviously thrilled about the jade. Not only had it juiced up the atmosphere, but it practically guaranteed tomorrow's headlines. First stone opened, top quality jade, sold for 3 million, you couldn't ask for better marketing. After a quick chat, Zhao Chuan led him to the convention center's third floor. With the bank staff's help, Jiang Cheng and Shen Yunping completed the transaction. Money and goods, all clear. Hey, man, Shen Yunping said, patting Jiang Cheng's shoulder, I really owe you one. Listen, I'm gonna set some stuff up. Let's grab some lunch, celebrate. Actually. Just as Jiang Cheng was about to answer, Shen Yunping's phone rang. Yo. Who's this? He answered without looking, all casual. Shen Yunping. Where the hell are you? A voice exploded from the phone. Jiang Cheng jumped. Sis. Shen Yunping, who'd been slouching, snapped upright, scrambling into the hallway. Even through the thick fire door, you could hear him laughing, buttering her up. Don't worry, sis, this jade is insane. Yeah. Old mine. Ice jade. Imperial green. If I'm lying, you can beat me to death. Zhao's setting me up with Xijing's best carver. Trust me. I got the design all figured out. The god of longevity. Dad's birthday banquet. Boom. Okay. I'll bring it over, you can take a look. Shen Yunping reappeared, sheepish. Sorry, man. He smiled apologetically. Got some family stuff. Gotta bail on lunch. Sorry. No problem. Jiang Cheng smiled back. You do your thing. Alright, man, Shen Yunping nodded, I'll make it up to you. We'll hang out soon. Later. Sounds good. Jiang Cheng watched him rush off. He took a deep breath, pushed open the fire door, walked to the window, and lit a cigarette. Yes, clenching the cigarette between his teeth, he pumped his fist. The excitement he'd been holding back finally burst free, *3 million, *.2 lifetimes, and he'd never had this much cash. More importantly, he knew this $3 million was the seed money to make his capital grow exponentially. Soon, $30 million. $300 million. More. It was all possible. He felt amazing. Ding! Just as Jiang Cheng was reveling in his future riches, a clear sound echoed in his mind. The host experienced a joyful experience after earning millions of dollars for the first time, and successfully triggered the talent, pleasant life. Card, God of Singing card. When the host sings, the audience present will increase their favorability towards the host based on their personal listening experience. Number of uses 1 to 1. P.S. Every time you increase the favorability of others, there is a very low chance of directly improving the host's appearance attributes. P.S. There is no limit to the number of listeners. Another card. Jiang Cheng stared at the blue card on the system interface, stroking his chin. This system was wild. Well, at least there was a chance to get better looking. It didn't seem immediately useful. Oh well, he'd just collect them for now. It felt good to have them. Chapter 30. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. Jiang Cheng felt great Sunday morning after an early run. His concentration skill let him get super focused, even during intense long runs, almost like when he was reading. This helped his heart and lungs work perfectly together without him even realizing it. Now, running 6 miles, which used to be a huge challenge, was easy. Plus, he was getting way more out of his workouts, feeling really good. He went back to his dorm, took a shower, and felt even more refreshed. He pulled out his wallet and took out a business card. Jiang Cheng dialed the number. Hello? Soon, a nice woman's voice answered. Hi, is this Wen Jie? Jiang Cheng asked politely, grabbing the towel on his shoulder to dry his hair. Speaking. Who's this? Jiang Cheng. Jiang. Wen Jie paused, then her voice got excited. Oh. Mr. Jiang. Hey, did you know Xiaofu Jewelry, the stock you bought, went up like crazy the same day? Yeah, Miss Wen. Jiang Cheng cut her off. I wanted to ask about applying for your company's stock leverage funds. Oh. She sounded surprised. Mr. Jiang, I think I mentioned you need at least $500,000 in stocks or cash in your account to apply for leverage funds at Zhaoshang Securities. I know. Jiang Cheng took a cigarette from the pack on the table, lit it, and took a drag, then said calmly, I've got $3 million ready to go. $3. $3 million. Her voice jumped up, totally shocked. I'm calling to see how much leverage your company can offer with a $3 million principal. Wow. Mr. Jiang, I need to talk to my boss about this. I'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks. Jiang Cheng nodded and hung up. He was hoping for at least 3 times leverage. If Zhaoshang Securities couldn't do it, he'd find someone else. He was sure someone would want his business. After putting out his cigarette, Jiang Cheng blew some smoke towards the fat guy snoring in his sleep, then left the dorm with a smile, leaving the other student asleep. He got a steamed bun and porridge near campus. After a few bites, Jiang Cheng headed to the library. For Jiang Cheng, making money, working out, and learning were making him feel happy and complete. He was going to read Macroeconomic Theory by Sargent, a famous American economist. The book covered classical economics, Keynesian economics, monetarism, and the pre-Sargent ideas. By studying these topics, he could broaden his perspective and see the bigger picture, so he could better understand what was happening in the country and the world's economy. Jiang Cheng believed that his actions would cause big changes. If he just relied on what he knew from his past life and assumed everything would happen the same way, he'd be really stupid. Even worse, he might make terrible mistakes. So, Jiang Cheng wanted to use this time to learn as much as he could. His goal was to create a huge business empire, even without the system's help, just using his own skills. That way, he'd be unstoppable. He studied hard all morning, totally focused, feeling satisfied. Jiang Cheng finished his studying for the morning. As he walked out of the library, he saw someone he recognized. She was about 5 feet 7 inches, with messy long hair and a faded high school uniform. Lu Xian. Jiang Cheng caught up and smiled. What a coincidence. Going to grab some food? Jiang Cheng. Lu Xian, who was wearing glasses, seemed surprised. She was shy and seemed uncomfortable being called by her name. Yeah, hi. Lu Xian looked down at her old shoes. Well, it's fate. Jiang Cheng smiled. Let's go together. Oh, no need. Lu Xian blushed and stammered, I caused you trouble last time. Come on, we're classmates. We should help each other. Well. Lu Xian. Just as Lu Xian was about to answer, a shout came from behind. What are you doing here? A middle-aged woman with broad shoulders and a large waist was standing nearby, pointing at Lu Xian. Get over here. Lu Xian looked back, surprised. Mom, she said timidly. Jiang Cheng could hear the awkwardness in her voice. Why are you here? Why shouldn't I be here? The woman stormed over, pointing at Lu Xian and yelling. If I hadn't come, who knows what you'd be up to. The woman glared at Jiang Cheng, grabbed Lu Xian's wrist, and pulled her away. Let's go. Let's go. We're going home. Lu Xian couldn't get away, so she quickly turned to Jiang Cheng, looking panicked. What the heck? Jiang Cheng frowned, watching the mother and daughter leave. Something seemed off.